Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday morning trading room. Let me get the screen share going on here. Poor me, I'm still without my third monitor. My monitor adapter crapping out on me. I've got another one on order. Should be here before the weekend. So I'll just have to make do, struggle on. All right. It's a little bit difficult for me to sort out all the different charts and get the daily chart in front here. But if you looked at the daily chart, you would have seen that the market posted a fairly bullish day yesterday, even though the session itself was relatively quiet. A lot of back and forth. We did see a bit of a rally. You can see here on the Eagle, we got yet another rally. It seems like all the activity is coming in the overnight session, which is very odd for a North American market, or so it seems to me anyways. Here's the European session now, pre-market, and you can see that they're very sideways, very congested. We are now well above 7,500 and opening with a bit of a gap again, because I believe the market left off around 75.25 yesterday, give or take. So there's a good 25, 30 point gap below the marketplace here, below the current prices. All right, we've got the hawk here already giving us several sell signals. Now, one thing I want to point out, especially in a tool like the hawk, which is rather prolific with its signals anyhow, I'm never really comfortable when I see signal, 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 signal. It should look a little bit more like this, where you get a signal and you get some follow through. You get a signal, you get some follow through. When you get a whole bunch of signals, one right after the other, that's, I don't know, it's odd. You don't see it very often. It does make me a little suspicious. Given the market is still, like I say, in a pretty strong uptrend, we should be favoring buying opportunities, although here out of the open, it does look as though we are looking at perhaps a little bit more bearishness. So we'll give them a moment. I was just comparing here the Raptor signals relative to the filter. The filter in the Raptor especially is a momentum style filter. It's actually the programming of the whole Eagle Trend Trader is in the filter here. So what you tend to look for is you tend to look for breaks in the momentum. right now, you can see very, very bearish momentum relative to the bullishness, right? There was a bullish block here, then a red block or magenta block, then a smaller bullish block, smaller magenta block. Now this tells you that the market is starting to get lose any directionality. Then we have a little bit of a bigger blue block, and right about at this point right here, where the sellers started to overwhelm the buyers, that kind of shifts the momentum and gives us a much more bearish looking type signal. We do have a sell signal here, a hard edge bounce. It looks like we're going to come back with another one. So, why is that not displaying on here? Doggone it. All right, well, I continue to have my issues here with the Raptor, but what I was looking at doing was a second push entry on this number 3 signal. And we'll get the exit order out of the way because the Falcon is starting to get a little bit more bullish looking, as is the Hawk. In fact, we're getting some conflicting signals here. I think I may just close the order out and give this another look. All right, back in the hard edge. Here we go again. We're going to get a, oh no, the Eagle looking a little bit bullish. So far, it's only the Raptor that seems to be a little bit more bearish. And what I'm looking at here is, or what I see is a little bit of a bear flag. All right, we'll try this again. And for the life of me, I still don't know why it's not displaying on here, but we'll see if we get a sell signal or if we breach still this second push point right down there. Stop it, stop it. No, not yet. Oh, the band's actually starting to turn over. You see a bit of a momentum shift now. All right. Things not going as per plan, so I'm going to try reinstalling my trade calculator. Oh, here they come now. Maybe. All right, let's put that back on the shelf. We did get a trend change signal here in the Falcon. Looks like we trickled up enough to get to the high probability profit target. The Eagle still a little conflicted. The Hawk gave us a first micro macro cross here. You took a little heat on the trade, but it certainly got up to its profit objective. I'm wondering if a move back into that gap is probable. Tiny, teeny tiny test of the extreme, just very short term, obviously not the test of the extreme, which would be, back toward here, the highs. Okay, we're into the Eagle now. We've got a little bit of a green bar sell going on back into the hard edge. It's difficult though, because you could also highlight all this as a trading range, couldn't you? In which case, we're right back in the middle of the trading range. So which way is the trend? Okay, well, it looks like they may continue higher. I'm just going to change some of the colors while I wait here for the Raptor. Just to make it a little bit easier to see. Where'd you go? There you are. There. Okay. Make the chart a little prettier, a little easier to see. Now, what's helpful is if you remember to save your template. Ideally, what I'm waiting for here is a pullback. If the market is heading higher, I think we can agree on that. The overall trend is up. A pullback would be very helpful. So in anticipation of that pullback, I'm considering a short. And you could draw it up different ways. We won't get an early signal here on the Falcon. We got a nice trend change signal. Shortly after that, we had a late filter entry signal, both of which had no difficulty finding their profit objectives. We got this little bit of a mini trend going on. The Eagle still showing us a market that is well within this trading range that we have right here. And when you have trading ranges, there's really only two ways that you can trade them. The way I prefer is that you allow the market to break out, retest, and then show you that it will continue higher. The other way that you can trade a trading range is to buy around the bottom third, bottom quarter, sell around the top third, top quarter, because this is where the sellers are, this is where the buyers are. It's a little bit more aggressive. The upshot is you can usually keep your stops very, very tight. And if you're only going in with single contracts, and scalping, not being too ambitious on it, you will usually get your profit objective. Okay, here we just got a counter trend signal on the Raptor, which is going to be one of the early tools to give us a counter trend. I'm going to look for this bar. Oh, come on, give me a second push somewhere. Doggone it, it did not display again. I don't know why it's doing that, but we do have an order to short below that bar that was making a little bit of a hiccup. So this now my second push on this number 2 signal, which could have already hit my profit objective had I taken it on the actual signal itself. Okay, let me get that stop loss order out of the way. Bollinger's already in sync. We had an early sell signal here on the Falcon, but the proper trend change signal has not developed just yet. So with the Falcon, the trend change signal develops when your trend line changes color. So this is the move that changed the trend line color. This is the pushback to that trend change. Now we need to see the sellers regain the market. Oh, it doesn't look like they're doing that. So let me cancel that trade for now. Not quite going according to plan. Okay, excuse me here for just a moment. I'm going to see whether this makes a difference. No, still doesn't show it. This is annoying the heck out of me. Oh, there it is. Finally showed. Oh, okay. So what? I have to have my chart trader on? There's probably a setting here in the indicator that I've missed. Trade calculator. All right, well, whatever the case, I hope it's working now. We'll link it with the rest of them. right, here we go again. I am still a little bit more bearish. I want to see the market get into that gap. The Raptor is going to be one of the first tools to give me a sell signal. The Falcon, a little, maybe just a little conflicted. We had a little bit of a bearish trend here, coming back with some buying. The Hawk definitely conflicted, no question there. Or am I just being stubborn? Am I just thinking the buyers can't get it going any higher? We're going to get a trend change signal here on the Falcon. We're going to produce another hard edge bounce signal here on the Raptor. Maybe the thing to do would be to just put my just in case order to buy up here. So this signal where we have the warning dot, if the market continues higher, should actually produce a buy signal. And in fact, you could extend it to be above these highs as well. And I suppose in a way we have the market bracketed. We have a second push opportunity on this number 2 signal and a second push opportunity on this number 3. So you could use your sell order, your stop loss order, as a sell order to get short. You can see by the background highlight that we've got a number 2 signal that did not meet the signaling parameters, I think because the market actually closed below the band. It was technically no longer a number 2 signal, but we are introducing some bearish momentum. We're fading a little bit here. See, we introduced a magenta block. Now we do have a blue block, and yes, it is bigger than the magenta block. But if the market continues lower, it will shift that as well. All right, well, there we go. So I'm going to eliminate this order here, which was my stop loss. This now my new stop loss. Oh, I see. They must have been waiting on a report of sorts because we got a little bit of giddy up now. Should have checked the reports calendar. That would have made sense. All right, why don't we do a measured move to see where the market may end up profit-wise, seeing how I forgot to put my support and resistance suite on here. We'll use that as our profit target. Ray says on the trade calculator and the chart trader, both of them have to know they are set in sim. So you got to make sure your accounts are in sync. Well, that would make sense. And Ray says, I checked the news feed and it only showed news on Friday. So go figure. That's one reason I don't really follow the market news that much, because it does not seem to matter. All right, we got to get some follow through here now. I really want to start rolling my stops. Come on, you can do it. This should fill the gap, by the way, if we do get down here. Let's take a look at the support and resistance suite on the Falcon. Oh, and look at that. It would be trading right on the primary support zone. The Falcon trend change signal coming right here. And we are struggling a little bit. I'm doing my very best to be patient. When the market is like this, when it's so flat and sideways, you're really just guessing at trend. Right? You pays your nickels, you take your chances. So you pick a direction, you put your money on it, you control your risk, and that's really all you can do. If the trade works, the trade works. If it doesn't, well, it doesn't. That's why risk control is so important. Obviously, if we break below these lows, our high probability target at around 75.55, if we can break below these lows, we will definitely encourage selling. All right, there we go. We would have hit the high probability target. I'm going to bring my stops now to break even. And if I were smart, I would take my profit. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my profit on target, just like I tell you to do. Imagine that. All right, let's get rid of the text and marker, which is a little bit annoying. Oh, hold on. Let's do it this way. Whenever you make changes, it's always a good idea to save them so you don't have to do them again. Okay, well, that was all right. I'm very pleased with that trade, not because it worked out, but because I did it the way it was supposed to be done, right? I did it well. I didn't get greedy. You know, all that stuff you're supposed to do. Yeah, Ray says, I'm glad you took the profit. I'm glad I took the profit too. It was the smart thing to do. And, you know, every once in a while, I will do the smart thing. And the beauty of it, folks, is that that's really the only trade I need today. If again, I mentioned this time and again because it's so important. It's overlooked by so many people. But trading is not necessarily about going into the marketplace and finding 20 winning trades in a day. That's very difficult to do. Finding 1, 2, maybe 3 profitable trades in a day, if you exercise the patience to wait for it, that is definitely more doable. So here we are, about 40 minutes after the market open, and essentially our trading day is done. Because if I can make $100 on single contracts, well, that's $200 on 2 contracts, 300 on 3, 500 on 5, 1,000 on 10, and that's where the money lies, not in chasing the market around. It's small wonder most people can't make money trading because that's how most people trade. I remember doing this myself. I remember being up $300, $400 on the day trading singles. And no, I just got to go back one more time. And of course, you know what happens next. You end up losing that $300 or $400 or $500 on the next trade, and now all of a sudden you're back to even, and you feel like, okay, well, now I have to trade again because I don't have any profit to show for the day. And it looks like taking profit on target was definitely the right thing to do. We got this big pushback and a very interesting first micro-macro cross signal developing now. So we've got the warning dots. I might be inclined to look at it. Oh, look at it jumping about. There now is the signal to buy, but my stops would have to be very, very tight. So I think what I'll do is I'll lock it into a single. And I think I got to make an adjustment here on my trade calculator. What is my distance? Yeah, 10 ticks might be a little bit big for that. I think the default was 8. what this value here does is, it will set your trade calculator stop or limit line X number of ticks above or below the current market price. So when I roll here to the stop, you see there's the current market price is 75.66, but my actual order, see, is up here. So this now the first micro macro cross to buy. I'm going to get my sell order here out of the way. Are we getting a counter trend signal anywhere? All right, I'm going to bring my stops up quick. And I'm going to be fairly aggressive on this. Here we go. Anything with a little bit of a tail, I'm going to roll my stops. So we'll go break even now. No. Okay, remember to close out your open order. I may have been too aggressive on that trade, but given our proximity to the recent highs, I did not want to try to stretch it out too much in case there was some pushback. And like I said, maybe it may turn out I was too aggressive. Yeah, I was. There we go. Would have hit the profit target. Oh well. Again, this whole sideways congestion that we find ourselves in. Right? We really haven't left this trading range. Still hovering around the 75.70 area, which is where we started the day. Oddly enough, trade forecaster says we're supposed to be in trend mode. Not yet. Now it says trend mode for the next hour, so that does give the market some time to get its act together. Okay, a little bit of a flurry there. All right, the rally continues. So, in hindsight, it looks as though, well, there actually weren't that many signals here. We've looking at a bit of a breakout now from that sideways trading range. Ho hum. The market now, like I said, we've broken outside this trading range. Oops, sorry, wrong button. So we've broken outside the trading range. Now we're looking for a reaction. Once we get that reaction, well, then we know our place where we can buy above, and whether or not the reaction holds will determine whether we can set a short position as well. Ideally, I like to see 2 bars to confirm the top. Oh, that was close. Sounds like an ambulance nearby. Well, here we go, trading in slow motion again. That number 1 signal probably getting very, very close to its profit target here. The Falcon trend chain signal certainly finding its profit objective. Still a little stumped on the eagle. And the hawk, of course, your first micro macro cross right here. A nice little macro pullback signal right here, piggybacking on a 4-arrow consolidation. Hey, way to go, Ron. Ron said, made a trade on the Hawk for 5 points. Nicely done. Yeah, Ron says, I need your template. Here, it's the only thing I've done different, Ron, is they're just cosmetics. So here, let's take a look. So you want to go to your indicator window and then highlight your tool in question. I can send you the, pardon me, the templates, but it may be just as easy to do it this way. Scroll down here toward the bottom where you have your warning dots. For some reason, programmers are not very imaginative. They have all these colors to choose from, and which one do they pick? Green. So on the Hawk, my warning dots, anything that's bullish is lime green, and then the sell, I have tomato. And that's really the only change I've made. So all the colors here, your sell alert, your sell entry point. So the buy ones are lime green, the sell are tomato, and I think I went with the same colors throughout. We'll take a look here at the Falcon. Got to find the right tool first. Here we go, Falcon. So the buy, yes, lime green, and the sell signals and warning dots. Oh, coral. Okay, so I ventured out, picked a different color. But honestly, that's the only difference from the defaults. Oh, the trend line. I did change here on the Falcon. So it looks like must be this one up here then. Magenta and green yellow. And again, you know what? There's so many colors here. You can select whichever one you want. Like I said, the programmers, they have the annoying habit of just going with green. And likewise, I would have changed the alert colors on the eagle here. But if you like, okay. Ron's asking. I'm referring to the 4 windows on your screen. Also, how do you change the number of days of historical data? Okay, let me do the data first. Right click, select data series, and then right here, days to load. Because if you're running your support and resistance suite, I believe you need at least 10 days in your data, or maybe it's 20, I forget. At any rate, this is where you would set that parameter. And to size the screen, it's really just a simple matter of grabbing the corner of the chart. So your chart, comes like this. And what I do is I just kind of eyeball it. And then with the next chart, I'll just adjust the parameters until I get it more or less even. And then I just drag them around to where I want them to be. Once you have that the way you want it though, go to your workspace, and if you're currently just as untitled, you're going to go save as, and then give it a name. And then if you click your save, then it will obviously save the way your charts are all formatted. So you don't need to rebuild it every morning. Ninja used to have a feature where you could select tile windows and it would automatically format it. Now I believe you have to do it manually. All right, nice progression on that number one signal. Nice follow through on the Falcon buy. I'm still waiting for a retest here on the Eagle, and I don't know if we're going to get it here. They continue to push. Things getting pretty quiet though. Shoot, it's only an hour since the open and already it seems like everything is dried up. Well, we don't have any new signals, a couple of follow-up signals, but it looks like the trend, trade forecaster calling for a trend, it looks like the trend may have kicked in now. Oh, isn't trading exciting? Well, I don't know what happened to everybody. Everybody go home? Okay. I don't want to say that we're going to see a move lower here, but we are due for a retest of this breakout zone. We may produce a number 2 signal here on the Raptor. Really depends how aggressive you want to be on this type of trade. Well, there's nothing to talk about. Anybody have any questions? Ron asks, I can't get my chart trader to turn on. I took the trade calculator off my chart. Well, chart trader toggles or should toggle with this button here. I don't know if you can do chart trader from a right click as well. I don't see it there. Dan says it would have been nice if we believed the trend indicator and left the trade on. Yeah, wouldn't it? Dan says, I took the Falcon trend change and left at the profit target. Well, you know what? You can't beat yourself up too badly for taking a profit. A profit is always good. Even if you leave a little money on the table, that's just part of the game. All right, now that we have two counter bars, you could place a just in case order to buy above this high. As the market comes down here to retest and hopefully bounces somewhere near the top end, you will have a level which you could short below. Yeah, absolutely. Ray's asking if possible on Friday. I'd like to hear more details, not only the settings on the trade calculator, but what those settings are and where they're to be used. Absolutely. Okay. Not quite the retest I was looking for, but we'll see. We'll see whether they can keep going from here. Um, very risky trade. If you're looking for a trade to mirror, this may not be the one because we have not retested the low or the breakout point. So, in theory, the best stop placement for this trade is way down here, and obviously that's a little bit out of reach. Dan killing it here. He says, I got the late filter entry signal on the Falcon. Oh, I see. You're in the late filter entry signal on the Falcon. Okay. So here's the late filter entry. Filter out of sync, back into sync. Trend line not changing color. Yeah, I don't think direction is the issue today, or at least not at this stage. I think the trend is up. The bigger challenge will be stop placement. All right, there we go. Let's see what they got. Oh, I guess I better get a stop and play here. Throw a stop order below here. And maybe we'll go to the support and resistance suite and look for a profit objective. Okay, so we've got the secondary resistance right there. Next resistance line up here around 76.07. I may not make it work that hard. I may try to get out here somewhere around 76.05 if it gives it to me. Oops, wrong button. And I will manage it here from the Falcon. Dan, you should almost be at your profit objective. Way to go. Dan just hit his profit target. Okay, I'm going to roll below this bar with this tiny little tail. Actually, I'm going to roll just above, so I've got my break even. And here too, you know, it would make sense to take profit on target. So I'm long from 75.89. Looking for a 5-point move. Come on. Here, we'll squeeze it a little bit. Keep a couple more ticks if the market reverses off of this line. Come on, get up there. Come on. Just a couple more ticks. Here, we'll give you a little push. Just a little nudge. There we go. Whew. Well, that was a good way to finish off the session here today. We had to wait quite a bit, but it paid off. All right, gang, if you are going to continue trading today, well, the trend is up. So look for any pullback of sorts as an excuse to get long. I do believe the market will probably move to that next resistance zone that we were looking at. After that, it may just start to consolidate a little bit on the remainder of the day. right. I will see you again tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.